This week, we're going to be covering constructive criticism, and in this video, let's talk about what a constructive critique is and when to use it. Constructive criticism is a helpful way of giving feedback that provides specific, actionable suggestions. Rather than providing general advice, constructive criticism gives specific recommendations on how to make positive improvements. Constructive criticism is clear, to the point, and easy to put into action. No one likes hearing that their work is bad or needs help, but there are times that you need to help others improve their work. The first step in giving good constructive critique is to understand exactly what you want to accomplish. In other words, focus solely on what you want to improve, change, or at least continue doing right. What you don't want to do is to be mean, off-putting, or unhelpful. You want to be helpful and leave the person you're critiquing feeling better about improving their work. So always keep in mind the reason for your critique: to improve their work. To help do this, there are three things to consider when giving a constructive critique in a helpful way. Consider using the sandwich method, use I language, and focus on actions or behaviors. Let's have a look at the sandwich method. The sandwich method delivers constructive criticism in between specific praise statements. With this strategy, an evaluation is started with a praise for something that the designer has done well before discussing aspects of improvement. Then the critique is concluded with another specific praise of their work. Try to focus on offering productive advice and plans for improving, and offer your assistance before closing your critique. Here's an example. In this case, it's obvious that the artist is trying to copy the Mona Lisa, but the artist has missed the mark. But where have they missed the mark? I would start this critique by stating something that is good about it. For instance, I think the colors and the shapes are really creative and original. Then I can go on to mention that the anatomy needs some work. Finally, I can follow up by expressing my pleasure with their creativity. That's the sandwich method in a nutshell. The next thing to consider is using I language. I language is all about enforcing your point of view. Using phrases like I think or I feel and I suggest, make sure that the person receiving your feedback understands that the criticism is about their situation and behavior rather than about them as a person. Doing this lets the other person know that you see their situation. This makes it easier for the other person to separate the criticism from himself and sees where you're coming from. When you use I statements to deliver constructive criticism, you can make sure the chances for miscommunication are eliminated. You can see where we've already used some of this language in the previous sandwich method. Each phrase was carefully crafted to reflect the point of view of the person giving feedback. Phrases like, I love the bold colors and shapes, or I think you may want to spend a bit more time on anatomy, or I really think this has some originality and creativity. That's not to say you should always use yourself as a point of view. Sometimes it's okay to back up your belief with examples from others, but I language is the quickest way to psychologically disarm someone from feeling hurt about needing to improve their work. Finally, remember to focus on actions and behaviors. When delivering a constructive criticism, it's important to focus on specific actions or outcomes or behaviors that you want to see improved. Don't be vague about what you want to see. As a tip, consider writing out some specific items or actions that you commonly see before you deliver your critique or criticism. In my last example, I was a bit vague about spending time with anatomy. What does that really mean? Let's see if I can clarify it with some more actions or behaviors. I think you may want to spend time with anatomy. Could easily be rephrased as, I would love to see you spend more time on the eyes or facial proportions. Or perhaps you should spend more time putting details into the shadows on the hands. Or, I think you should practice drawing trees so your background will look more realistic. Remember that constructive criticism is meant to help you improve your skills, productivity, and relationships. Remember that accurate and constructive feedback can give you insights that you've never had to realize otherwise. When all is said and done, your critique can be interpreted however others wish.